If you want to overcome nervousness, the first guideline is simply to know what you're talking about. You'll have an easier time giving a speech on a subject if you know the subject well. Want to speak about your favorite musician? Read any information on the person that you can find online or at your library. When you become an authority on your topic, the audience will want to learn what they can from you. And you won't have to struggle to keep your messages straight if you know the messages well. Once you've mastered your topic, the next step is to master your presentation. Make sure you rehearse the entire speech so that you will be comfortable presenting it. And practice any difficult parts repeatedly until they flow smoothly. Whether or not you memorize each word, you should make sure you know the order of your messages. That's why new Toastmasters members begin with the icebreaker speech. It's a chance to talk about the subject you know best, yourself. Then all you have to focus on is practicing how well you tell your story.
Now, another thing Guy Pearce does amazingly in that video is my second tip, which is to pay attention to your body language. And this is important for two specific reasons. Number one, your body language forms a large part of the non-verbal communication that complements the verbal communication of your words. The way you hold yourself, the way you're poised, your posture, the way you move your hands and gesture to highlight certain points, these all go hand in hand with the words you're speaking and can help to complement and drive home those points. But the other reason is that the unconscious body language that a lot of inexperienced speakers have is something that can harm you. We have a lot of nervous tics. For example, when I was an inexperienced speaker just starting out, a lot of things that I would do, I would put my hands in my pockets, and I guess the camera's fixed right there, but I can try to show you, right? I put my hands in and out of my pockets over and over again while I was speaking, and I would also pace around the stage really distractedly, kind of moving, and I wasn't really consciously pacing and using that to effect, I was just doing it unconsciously. So these are things that you can control to both not distract your audience, but also to help bolster your points.
There's a reason why I'm putting out so many videos. This is because I've really got big expectations for myself and where I want to take my channel, my business, and a lot of these videos I look at it is practicing for where I'm going. And so I know we've put out well over 200 videos, but what you haven't seen are the hundreds and hundreds of videos that haven't made it simply because I didn't feel they were good enough. In addition, let's just say I practice a lot. And if you don't practice, if you think you can wing it, you're really setting yourself up for failure. There's a guy named Pat Flynn. I follow him over at Smart Passive Income. And I know he spoke recently at Blog World. And he went through the entire process of how he practiced again and again. Sometimes, in front of his, I think he's got a 2-year-old son now, that was the only audience. But whenever he got up there and he gave his speech at Blog World, guess what? All of his presentation props failed. They couldn't get it going. But Pat just looked forward and he kept going because he knew his presentation by heart. And when you practice that much and that doesn't even bother you, people are just going to be like, wow, so practice, practice, practice.
Of knowing who will be listening to you and where you will be when you give your presentation. Both the audience and location can create limitations that are important to understand. For example, if you are a researcher, you might speak about the math behind your work. Now, if you're addressing a group of college professors, you could use highly technical language to discuss a sophisticated research project. Would you do that if you were describing your work to a group of school children? For young kids, wouldn't it be better to talk about how people learn things through research? Knowing your audience means understanding and respecting their particular characteristics. Before you prepare your speech, their geography, politics, culture, and age, and other traits will define them as a group and will guide you in tailoring your presentation to fit their needs. Be sure to check out your location before you present. Will there be enough space on stage for everything you need? If you're planning to deliver a PowerPoint presentation, are you sure they'll have a screen? Or have you been placed in an outdoor amphitheater with too much sun for anyone to see the screen? What about audience size? Will a sound system be available if you need it? All these questions are important to answer before you take the stage.
Repetition. It's a way of structuring sentences to give them more impact. Speechwriters technically call it anaphora. I call it repetition because that's what you're doing. You're repeating the same words or phrases at the beginning of successive sentences. Think of Martin Luther King, I have a dream speech. I have a dream that someday, I have a dream, I have a dream. Barack Obama does something very similar, and it's very effective. Remember, Obama rose to prominence in 2004 when he gave an electrifying speech before the Democratic National Convention. There, Obama used repetition repeatedly. Listen.
I believe that we can give our middle class relief and provide working families with a road to opportunity. I believe we can provide jobs to the jobless, homes to the homeless, and reclaim young people in cities across America from violence and despair. I believe that we have a righteous wind at our backs, and that as we stand on the crossroads of history, we can make the right choices and meet the challenges that face us.